Looks like we made it. Time for more of your Moral Leaders Midnight Confessions. It's 12:15 a.m. A truly exciting time, I know. Throughout Pico Robertson, as husbands gather with wives and they say, "Hey kids, come into the bedroom. Let's fire up the old computer. Let's download our Moral Leaders' latest inspirational messages to make us finer human beings and stronger Jews." So here I am, and the theme for today is turning friends into enemies. The dance of intimacy, the dance of anger. So because I tend to hang out here on the margins and just observe, so that's where I come from. So I've always tended to be socially isolated. I grew up in the country, literally isolated, so that's why it's so important to me now to live in the city, because I want to be around a lot of people. I figure, where's my football? Figure if I'm around a lot of people, then you know, I increase my odds of finding friends. And as it's hard for me to become friends with anyone who is not a writer, that considerably shrinks my potential friend pool. So that's why I love being in LA. So I've always been on the margins, always lived in the country, socially isolated. Seventh-day Adventists regard cities as dens of iniquity. And I didn't go to school until I was 8. I entered school in 2nd grade. I think that might have contributed to my lack of social skills, which still show themselves today at times. So I didn't go to school till 2nd grade. And so what sorts of things did I do when I got to school? Well, I used to get sticks. I used to poke the girls with sticks. And I know that's wrong, and I know it's against the Torah, but I still like to do that. I like to get sticks, and I like to poke people and get a reaction from them. Because naturally people just ignore me. And I don't like to be ignored. So I like to get sticks, and I like to lift up their dresses and poke them with the sticks. I used to lie beside the stairs and look up the girls' skirts as they'd walk by, and I'd yell out the color of underwear they were wearing. Surprisingly, this didn't make me very popular. And I always had a cutting tongue, and I'd unleash it at people, and surprisingly, this did not make me popular either. So I did not get invited to Gavin Brown's birthday party when I was in 2nd grade, and people had to intervene to get me invited, kind of like Lurid, LA. And then over the years something happened. I gradually formed friendships with other people in the school at Avondale College Elementary School. They didn't call it a primary school, they called it in Australia. And as people got to know me, slowly my social cachet rose till I was basically with the cool kids. So it took about 4 years, and then, you know, I rose to a decent social position where some girls wanted to kiss me, and I mean that's basically what it's all about in 5th grade. It's what it's all about now. And then my family moved to Northern California. We moved from Australia to the Napa Valley, and I entered 6th grade at Pacific Union College. And I remember when I met some of my future classmates in the swimming pool at Pacific Union College, and I kind of greeted them by splashing them with water and calling them names and insults, and boy, they hated me. And then over the years, my social cachet started to rise. The best time of my life was 8th grade, when my parents moved to Washington, D.C., but I got to stay behind to finish 8th grade. I got to stay with friends, and I started forming friendships, and I was elected the class's pastor. So this is Pastor Luke Ford here in 8th grade. Then I got to high school, again on the margins, but by my senior year I was the editor of my school newspaper, and I was known, and I was not popular. I certainly had my enemies, but you know, I was moving towards the popular crowd, and some girls wanted to kiss me. And so, because I'm on the margins, I'm like this unstable isotope. I don't know my science very well, but you have like molecules that vibrate, and you never know where they're going to go. So I have like two basic emotional instincts. One is to attach. One is needy. One loves Air Supply and Barry Manilow, and those lyrics reflect his inner life. Wants to be close to people, wants to be intimate, and wants to be a part of things, and wants to be in the swing of things. And then this me is like very unstable, and when I get rejected, then I want to lash out and emotionally remove myself and become very cold and cruel, and think, haha, well, as the years go by, I've got the blog, I'll get him. And so those are my two basic emotional reactions. You know, I want to be close to you until you reject me, and if you reject me definitively enough, I'm going to hate you for it. If I have any desire to be close to you. If I never have any desire to be close to you, and you reject me, it doesn't even register. So those are my basic emotional instincts, because I put myself on the line with my blog, where I spill a lot of stuff and pursue a lot of stories and make a lot of enemies. My blogging can either start a conversation or it can end one. I think some people become so infuriated by what I write that it closes them off to me. Other people become afraid, but thank God some people engage, and that's where I've been able to turn enemies into friends. And there are some key things that, even though I've got my share of social misfit status, that I do have some abilities. And one is, I'm now 41, I make sure I'm real nice. Basically, I'm real nice to everyone until they screw me. And then I may still be nice, or I may not. But if people abuse me for my blog or for something I say, I very rarely react. And so that gives a conversation a chance. That gives me a chance to really talk to someone. And let's say I've written something bad and unfair about someone. Now, my immediate emotional instinct is to defend what I've done and to try to justify it, even if it's not justifiable or defensible. So I've learned to just shut myself down and not go into defensive mode, and just to listen to the other person, and to force myself not to erect barriers of defense, and that can begin the turnaround, and that can begin friendship. So I'm like riding a wave right now. I'm a lot of people who despised me starting to talk to me, and a lot of people who are afraid of me are starting to talk to me and to trust me a little bit, and then a little bit more and a little bit more. So I'm developing bonds within the Orthodox community here in Pico Robertson, and that is the most important thing in my life, and that rocks. And I've been able to turn a lot of enemies into friends. I remember back in 2001 when I got thrown out of 3 synagogues, Young Israel, Century City, Beth Jacob, and Chabad-based Bezalel. God, those were dark times, and some friends that I had at those synagogues threw me over as well. Don't want to talk to you anymore. And I was so needy, and I remember with this one rabbi, I came out with this like 6-point plan of things that I'd have to do to get back in the shul. I'd have to go to every minyan and apologize to people for going to the shul while I was also writing on the porn industry, and very humiliating things, and I agreed to do it. And then he said, it's best that you find somewhere else to daven. And so those